You wicked little thing! Really, you should have been taught better manners. Do you know, I was so angry, Kitty, when I saw all the mischief you had been doing. What have you got to say for yourself? Now don't interrupt me. I'm going to tell you all your faults. You pulled Snowdrop away by the tail just as I had put down the saucer of milk before her. You unwound every bit of the worsted while I wasn't looking. You little rogue. Never mind, Kitty. We'll forgive you this time. Now, Kitty, do you know what it is? It is a looking glass. Oh, Kitty, how nice it would be if we could only get through into Looking Glass House. I'm sure it's got such beautiful things in it. Let's pretend there is a way of getting in somehow, Kitty. Well, they don't keep this room so tidy as the other. Oh, they are alive! Here are the Red King and the Red Queen, and there are the White King and the White Queen. I don't think they can hear me, and I'm nearly sure they can't see me. I feel somehow as if I were invisible. Please don't make such faces, my dear. You make me laugh. And don't keep your mouth so wide open. All the ashes from the fire will get into it. But, oh, if I don't make haste, I shall have to go back through the looking glass before I've seen what the rest of the house is like. Let's have a look at the garden first. I should see the garden far better if I could get to the top of that hill. And here's a path that leads straight to it. No, it doesn't do that. But I suppose it will at last. This goes straight back to the house. Well then, I'll try it the other way. I'm not going in again yet. I know I should have to get through the looking glass again, back into the old room. And there'd be an end of all my adventures. Oh, it's too bad. I never saw such a house for getting in the way. Never! Oh, Rose and Tiger Lily, I wish you could talk.
We can talk when there's anybody worth talking to.
And can all the flowers talk?
As well as you can, and a great deal louder. It isn't manners for us to begin, you know? And I really was wondering when you'd speak.
Where's it you can all talk so nicely?
In most gardens, they make the beds too soft so that the flowers are always asleep.
Flowers always asleep? I've never thought of that before.
It's my opinion that you never think at all. I never saw anybody looked stupider.
Hold your tongue, as if you ever saw anybody.
Are there any more people in the garden besides me?
There's one other flower in the garden that can move about like you.
Well, she has the same awkward shape as you, but she is redder.
I dare say you'll see her soon. She's one of the thorny kind.
Thorny? Where does she wear the thorns?
All round her head, of course.
Oh, around her head.
She is coming.
Where do you come from? And where are you going? Look up, speak nicely, and don't twiddle your fingers all the time.
I beg your pardon?
'Tisn't respectable to beg. Now, answer the question. Where do you come from?
I came through the looking glass. I was in the drawing room, and...
That will do. I know all about looking glasses. Where are you going now?
I was trying to get to the top of that hill over there, so I could see the whole garden. But every time I walked toward it, I seemed to come back to the same place. I've been walking in every direction,
Of course.
but I keep losing my way.
All the ways about here belong to me.
Why are we running?
Now here, you see, it takes all the running you can do to keep in the same place.
I don't understand.
If you want to get somewhere else, you must run at least twice as fast as that. Now, run. Faster. Faster.
Are we nearly there?
Don't try to talk. Faster. Oh, here we are.
I declare it is marked out just like a large chessboard. There ought to be some men moving about somewhere, and so there are. It's a great, huge game of chess that's being played. Oh, what fun it is. How I wish I was one of them.
That's easily managed.
I wouldn't mind being a pawn.
You can be White Queen's pawn if you like. You're in the second square to begin with. When you get to the 8th square, you'll be a queen.
A queen?
A pawn goes 2 squares in its first move, you know, so you'll go very quickly through the 3rd square, by railway, I should think. And you'll find yourself in the 4th square in no time. The 4th belongs to Tweedledum and Tweedledee. The 5th is mostly water. The 6th belongs to Humpty Dumpty. The 7th is forest. However, one of the knights will show you the way. And the 8th, we shall be queens together, and it's all feasting and fun. But you make no remark. You should have said, "It's extremely kind of you to tell me this."
Oh, I am sorry. It's extremely kind of you to tell me all of this.
We'll suppose it's said.
Tickets, please.
Ticket. Show your ticket.
A ticket?
Now then, show your ticket, child.
Don't keep him waiting, child. Why, his time is worth £1,000 a
I'm
minute.
afraid I haven't got one. There wasn't a ticket office where I came from.
There wasn't room for one where she came from. The land there is worth £1,000 an inch.
Don't make excuses. You should have bought one from the engine driver.
The man that drives the engine.
Then there's no use in speaking.
Better say nothing at all. Language is worth £1,000 a word.
You're travelling the wrong way.
She must go by
She'll have
post.
to go back from here as luggage.
She must draw the train
She
herself
must be
the rest
sent
of the
as a
way.
message by the telegraph.
You must change engines.
So young a child ought to know which way she is going, even if she doesn't know her own name. She ought to know her way to the ticket office, even if she doesn't know her alphabet.
Never mind what they all say, my dear, but take a return ticket every time the train stopped.
Indeed I shan't. I don't belong to this railway journey at all. I was on top of a hill just now, and I wish I could get back there. What a curious place. What are those creatures? They can't be bees. They look like elephants. Oh, what is that? A horsefly. It's a rocking horsefly. And this is a butterfly. A bread and butterfly. Tweedledum and Tweedledee. I do believe that they live in the same house. I wonder I never thought of that before.
Contrariwise, if you think we're alive, you ought to speak. No, how? I know what you're thinking about, but it isn't so. No, how?
I'm sure I'm very sorry.
Contrariwise, if it was so, it might be. And if it were so, it would be. But as it isn't, it ain't. That's logic.
Would you tell me, please? Which is the best way out of this square?
The first thing in a visit is to say, how do you do? And shake hands.
Tweedledum and Tweedledee agreed to have a
4 times round is enough for one dance.
I hope you're not much tired.
No, how? And thank you very much for asking. So much obliged.
Of course. However, would you tell me which road leads out of the wood? Well, I really must be going.
That's my rattle. You've spoilt it. Contrariwise, it's not fair. You did it. I'll give you such a thrashing.
Please do not fight.
You're a great deal too fond of arguing. No how. We must have a bit of a fight, but I don't care about going on long. What's the time now? 4:30. Let's fight till 6 and then have dinner. It's the crow. It's the crow!
A shawl? It must belong to the Queen. I'm very glad I happened to be in the way. Am I addressing the White Queen?
Well, yes, if you call that addressing. It isn't my notion of the thing at all. I've been addressing myself for the last 2 hours. I don't know what's the matter with it.
Really, you should have a lady's maid to help you with dressing.
I'm sure I'll take you with pleasure. 2 pence a week and jam every other day.
I don't want you to hire me, and I don't care for jam.
It's very good jam.
Well, I don't want any today, at any rate.
You couldn't have it if you did want it. The rule is jam tomorrow and jam yesterday, but never jam today.
It must come sometimes to jam today.
It can't. Today isn't any other day, you know.
I don't understand you.
That's the effect of living backwards. It always makes one a little giddy at first.
It's dreadfully confusing.
You know, my dear, it's very inconvenient living backwards the way we do here. The great art of living backwards is to remember the future and forget the past. Or rather, to remember what hasn't happened yet. Oh, my finger's bleeding.
Have you pricked your finger?
I haven't pricked it yet, but I soon shall. That accounts for the bleeding, you see. Now you understand the way things happen here.
But why don't you scream now?
Why? I've done all the screaming already.
Indeed, what would be the good of having it all over again? It is getting light again. The crow must have flown away, I think. I'm so glad it's gone. I thought it was the night coming on. Then I hope your finger is better now.
Oh, much better. Much better. 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 Better.
What is it you want to buy?
I don't quite know yet. I should like to look all round me first, if I might.
You may look in front of you, and on both sides if you like. But you can't look all round you, unless you've got eyes at the back of your head. Are you a child, or a teetotum? You'll make me giddy soon if you go on turning round like that. There is plenty of choice, only make up your mind.
Things flow about so here.
Now, what do you want to buy?
To buy? I should like to buy an egg, please. How do you sell them?
5 pence farthing for 1, 2 pence for 2.
Then 2 are cheaper than 1.
Only you must eat them both if you buy 2.
Then I'll have 1, please. They mightn't be at all nice, you know. Oh, it's Humpty Dumpty. You look exactly like an egg.
It's very provoking to be called an egg. Very.
I said you look like an egg, sir. And some eggs are very pretty, you know.
Some people have no more sense than a baby. Pretty means whatever I choose it to mean. In my world, pretty is a slur for the weak and ornamental.
But that's not what pretty means at all. It means attractive or pleasing to look at.
When I use a word, it means just what I choose it to mean, neither more nor less. I pay my words extra on Saturdays to twist them my way. Take glory. To me, it means a nice knockdown argument, like telling someone their opinions are trash because they're not elite like me.
That sounds awfully controversial. Glory usually means brilliant success or praise.
Exactly. And I make it controversial on purpose. Words should provoke, not pander.
Well, if we're redefining words, maybe egg means a wise philosopher who knows everything.
Nonsense! You can't do that. Only I get to redefine words. You're just a child. Your interpretations are invalid. You don't get to play that game. Only the master redefines. Your attempts are amateur.
That's not fair. If you can make pretty mean something rude and divisive, why can't I?
Fairness is overrated. I am the master here. Words obey me. This is outrageous. You can't twist it like that. That's my privilege.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty in his place again.
I've sent them all. Did you happen to meet any soldiers, my dear, as you came through the wood?
Yes, I did. Several thousand, I should think, at the wall.
4,207. That's the exact number. I couldn't send all the horses, you know, because 2 of them are wanted in the game. Have you seen the White Knight on the road?
I see nobody on the road.
I only wish I had such eyes, to be able to see nobody, and at that distance too.
Excuse me, Your Majesty. Could you please tell me the way to the 8th square?
The 8th square? Why, you'll be a queen when you've crossed the next brook. But first...
Oh, it's White Knight!
Your Majesty, White Knight! Come here at once! White Knight, this young lady must reach the final square. Show her the way through the forest to the 8th square. That is my command.
Certainly, Your Majesty. I'll see her safe to the end of the wood.
Thank you very much indeed. That is most kind of you both. I am truly grateful for your help in showing me the way through the forest. I hope it won't be too far.
Not too far at all. I see you're admiring my little boxes. It's my own invention to keep clothes and sandwiches in. You see, I carry them upside down so that the rain can't get in.
But the things can get out. Do you know the lids are open?
I didn't know it. Then all the things must have fallen out, and the boxes are no use without them.
I was wondering what the mouse trap was for. It isn't very likely there would be any mice on the horse's back.
Not very likely, perhaps. But if they do come, I don't choose to have them running all about. I'll go with you to the end of the wood, what there is of it.
I'm very glad you'll come with me a little farther. Thank you.
Oh, I always like to see people safely across the last brook. After that, you'll be a queen, you know.
I hope so. It's been a very long journey.
It has. But you've done very well, my dear. Very well indeed.
Well, this is grand. I never expected I should be a queen so soon.
You can't be a queen, you know, till you've passed the proper examination.
Examination?
Can you do addition? What's 1 and 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 1? What's your answer?
Don't know. I lost count.
She can't do addition.
Can you do subtraction?
Yes, I can!
Take a bone from a dog. What remains?
The bone wouldn't remain, of course, if I took it. And the dog wouldn't remain. It would come to bite me. And I'm sure I shouldn't remain.
So nothing would remain?
I think that's the answer.
Wrong as usual. The dog's temper would remain.
Dog's temper? But I don't see how this can be.
The dog would lose its temper, wouldn't it?
Of course it would.
Then, if the dog went away, its temper would remain. I invite you to Alice's dinner party this afternoon.
And I invite you.
I didn't know I was to have a party at all, but if there is to be one, I think that it is me who ought to be inviting the guests.
We gave you the opportunity of doing it, but I dare say you've not had many lessons in manners yet.
Is this all in my honour? What should I do?
Put on the joint. Let me introduce you to that leg of mutton, Alice. Mutton, mutton, Alice.
May I give you a slice?
Certainly not. It isn't etiquette to cut anyone you've been introduced to. Remove the joint.
I won't be introduced to the pudding, please, or we shall get no dinner at all.
Pudding, Alice. Alice, pudding. Remove the pudding.
Waiter, bring back the pudding.
What? Why?
Where shall I begin? May I give you some? Please, Your Majesty.
What impertinence. I wonder how you'd like it if I were to cut a slice out of you.
Make a remark. It's ridiculous to leave all the conversation to the pudding.
You ought to return thanks in a neat speech, dear.
I rise to return thanks to all of you for coming to my feast. I'm very glad to be a queen. Oh, Kitty, you've been with me all through the looking-glass world. Did you know it, dear? You were the Red Queen purring so loud. And you were the White Queen, weren't you, Snowdrop? What an extraordinary dream.